So Les Brown said, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to be great." And frustration is often a signpost showing you in the direction where you need to get started. I'm Sanj, and welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that helps you start to learn your mind so you can master your mindset in order to navigate life's challenges with ease. If you get something from this episode, please share it with someone who you think would benefit from hearing this. Also, I would really appreciate it if you could leave me a rating or a review. So the quote, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great," it actually highlights the importance of taking first steps towards achieving greatness. It shows you that the wait to feel ready or good enough, it can actually prevent you from ever getting started. So instead of it, it encourages you to begin your journey regardless of your current skill level, your current confidence, the things around you. Stop waiting. It shows you that through starting in continuous effort, you can improve and eventually achieve the greatness you desire. The essence of the quote is actually to motivate you to take action and to trust that the process will lead you to the growth and to the success that you want. So today I'm talking about why frustration is your friend, why it shows you where you need to take action. Because when we all get frustrated, it's common because you're not where you want to be. You think you should be further. And the reason you get frustrated, first of all, is because when your reality doesn't match your expectations, you expect to be at level 5, but you're only at level 1. You get frustrated that you're not where you want to be. You feel frustrated because you're that lack of progress towards your goal. Because you see everyone around you, you see the people on Instagram, on social media getting this instant success. You think it's easy. You think it's instantaneous. You think that, you just need to put in a little bit of effort and you'll get a lot of reward. It doesn't work like that. So when your reality doesn't match your expectations, you start to feel frustrated. You start to feel frustrated again about the lack of control because you feel out of control in a situation. You feel that actually you're frustrated because you don't have as much influence as you would like. You are unable to control the situation. Then another reason then is the bottled up emotions. So this is a big one because when you start to bottle up your emotions and you start ignoring your feelings, whether they be about someone, about yourself, whether they be about just life in general, when you're ignoring your feelings or you're not expressing them in a constructive way, it can build up to frustration. It can build up to resentment. It can build up into negative things, to stress, to depression. And the final thing is why you get frustrated and what it tells you about where you are in life is because it's a reflection of your values. Your frustration highlights areas where your life is out of alignment with your values and your goals. Imagine that if you are on track with your alignment with your goals and your values, you wouldn't feel frustrated. You would feel happy. You would feel content. You would feel excited because you're waking up every day and you're moving in the direction you want to be moved in. You're going to be meeting your expectations at that point. You're going to be in control because you're doing the things that you're in control because you're doing the things and you're aligning with your values and your goals. You may not be there yet, but you will be happier. Frustration is a signal in your body. It's like a GPS that goes out and it points out the areas in your life where change is needed. It shows you that something isn't right, that something isn't sitting well with you, that something needs your attention. You need to start listening when you feel frustrated, not thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm just a bit annoyed." Don't dismiss the feelings. The feeling is there for a reason. And the more you dismiss it, the more you try and ignore it, the bigger that frustration will become. From frustration, it can become anger. And from anger, you can start lashing out and start to really affect the people around you, the relationships that you have. You can even affect your mental health. So when you're feeling frustration, allow yourself to feel that frustration and figure out what it is. It's a signal that something isn't right. You need to figure out what it is and actually address it. But the good thing about it is frustration is it's quite simple. It's not an overwhelming thing at first, because what will happen is you'll start to feel small amounts of frustration. You'll start to feel little niggles, just little things, little pinches at you. And you can actually when you start to notice them, you can use frustration as a catalyst for positive change. When you start to recognize the signals, when you start to understand that frustration is a natural response and actually quite a useful indicator, you can start to think to yourself, actually, I know what's coming. I know that I'm not on the right path. I know I'm not where I want to be or where I should be. So when you recognize that signal, you can start doing what you need to do to get back on the path. When you start to recognize your emotions, it can actually reduce the intensity as well by up to 50%. So when you start to feel frustration, just recognize that signal, sit with it, think about it, decide, okay, what do you need to do? And then also, when you feel that emotion, you can view it in one of two ways. Rather than seeing it as a negative, reframe it. Think of it as a motivator. Think of it, actually, hold on, something's not going right. Let me change that. Let me actually see what I can do to control my frustration. Let's see what I can do to stop my frustration. For example, if you're frustrated at work, it may be a sign to start looking for a new job or getting new skills. If you're frustrated at home, you've got to think to yourself, what is it that's actually causing it? Do you feel like your work-life balance is out of sorts? Do you feel like you need to improve your relationships? Reframe that emotion of frustration, and rather than seeing it as a negative, see it as a motivator, as something that you can do differently, something that you can improve on, something that you can actually change. And when you do that, when you actually see it as a motivator, start to set yourself some new goals. Because then when you're feeling that negative frustration, when you're recognizing that emotion and you start to think of it, actually, what can I see it as motivating me for? You can use that energy from the frustration to set yourself some clear and actionable goals. You can wake up and start to think to yourself, you know what, actually, I don't no longer want to feel that frustration. Because at the end of the day, whether you feel the emotion or not is up to you. You decide how you want to live your life. You are in control. The problem is, so many of us sit there and think to ourselves, we're a victim of circumstance. No, if you want to stop feeling frustrated, you need to take the action that needs to be taken to stop yourself feeling frustrated. So set yourself some new goals when you feel that frustration. Think about what you're feeling frustrated about and set yourself goals to actually stop your feeling that frustration. You're using it as a constructive way, in a constructive way then. And then once you've set your goals, take some small steps. Take the small steps to start manageable actions to address the source of that frustration. And when you start using frustration as a motivator, you can move in new directions, continue progressing on your current path with renewed energy because you're looking for new things. You're actually seeing things with a different perspective. You can create new habits, make new friends. You can change your life if you use this frustration as a motivator. And then with frustration, it actually makes so much change in your life because you're going to boost your self-esteem and your confidence because you're taking action. As I say before, you taking action in your life is actually a huge game changer because you're going to be happier. You're going to feel more focused. You're going to feel more motivated. You're going to feel more confident because as you take on these new challenges and you get them under your belt, you're going to see how much different you feel about yourself. And then when you're on this road, you're no longer going to feel frustrated because you're actually going to be addressing the root cause of it. And so as a result, when you're addressing the root cause, you know that you're improving, you're doing what needs to be done to get that frustration out of your life, and you're going to reduce your stress. You're going to be reducing your stress because you're not going to be feeling the same way. You're not going to be just sat there waiting for someone else to come and save you. You're going to be the one saving yourself. And it's that action that you take that helps you regain your focus, your clarity, to get you moving in the right direction, to get you to where you want to be. And that makes it easier for you to achieve your goals. And at the end of the day, when you start doing all this, when you start to tackle your frustration, when you start behaving in a way that actually aligns with your core values, when you feel that happiness, it is going to seep into every single area of your life, your relationships, your positivity, your work, your focus, everything. Because you're going to be completing these tasks, you're going to be overcoming obstacles, it's going to be releasing all these endorphins into your system and just improving your mood. Because taking action, it not only alleviates the frustration that you may be feeling, but it can also lead to more positive and a more productive mindset. And so if you want to actually identify what's frustrating you and what you should do, first thing I would recommend is reflection. When you're feeling frustrated, get a piece of paper, write down what you're feeling frustrated about, what you're feeling frustrated about, why you're feeling frustrated, and what you can do about it. Because it's time for you to stop just feeling it and doing nothing. It's time for you to reflect on your feelings, identify the root cause of your frustration, and see what difference that makes when you can take action on it. Writing it down gives you a new perspective, and that's how you'll start to change things. The next thing would be to seek some feedback. If you're feeling frustrated, talk to friends, talk to mentors, talk to coaches, gain insights and perspectives. They may see solutions that you overlook, that you couldn't see. When you're in the woods, you may not be able to see the wood through the trees. So get yourself some external feedback if you're feeling brave enough. They may say things you don't like, but remember, there's only one way to improve in life, and that's just to open your mind and open your perspective. The next thing is set yourself goals and take some incremental steps. Because when you take those incremental steps, when you've got those goals which align with your values, it will actually address the sources of your frustration. Because when you've set those goals, you can actually see what you're aiming towards. You can see that you've got a target of beating this feeling, beating this emotion that's actually causing you this stress. And then when you start to take steps, you actually start to build up momentum. You start to tackle more and more tasks. You start to get these wins under your belt. And before you know it, you're well on the way to winning. Frustration isn't that thing that you think it is. It's not something to be feared. It's not something to be avoided. It's in fact a powerful indicator to point you towards areas of your life that need attention or may need some action. You need to take a moment, and by recognizing and addressing the sources of your frustration, you can actually stop for a minute and you can turn this emotion from a negative space and a negative connotation into a powerful motivator to help you make some positive changes in your life. So where's one area in your life where you feel the most frustrated? What is it? Why is it frustrating you? What can you do to stop it from frustrating you? Remember, when you take consistent action, no matter how small, that is the key to mastering your mindset. Because when you're taking and doing these hard things to face your frustrations, that's when things are going to change for you. And remember, as I always say, when your mindset shapes your reality, when you master it, you'll master your life. As always, my mission is to make a positive impact on this world, and I sincerely hope you can help me do that by liking, by subscribing, and by sharing this podcast with others. So until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep mastering your mindset to master your life. Thank you.